Hey Daydreamers, it's Alex, and today I am sharing with you my TBR for the Non-Binary November Readathon. So the Non-Binary November Readathon is a readathon that myself, Beth and Blue are hosting on this channel, and it is basically just to read and promote and celebrate books by non-binary authors or with non-binary characters. I'll leave our announcement video and our prompt suggestions video linked in the description and in whichever corner it is, I don't know. So you can check those out if you don't know what I'm talking about. And now I shall get into telling you what I plan to read for the readathon. So for the prompt, a book with the letters N or B in the title, I will be reading The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. This book is about a male teen who I believe discovers drag and gets into drag, and it's written in verse, and I'm really excited to read it. Neither the character nor the author are non-binary, but the illustrator is, and I believe the main character is also gay, and we are saying you don't have to read a book that is non-binary, but at least read LGBT books for the prompts that allow it, because some of the prompts are read a non-binary book. For the prompt, a book by a non-binary author, I am reading I Wish You All the Best by Mason Diva. Mason Diva is non-binary, and this book follows a main character who is non-binary, and they come out as non-binary to their family or their parents, and they get kicked out. And I'm just really excited to read this one. I don't think I've ever come across a book before that's about coming out as a non-binary person. So I'm really excited to read this, and I hope that more books like this come out in the future. For the prompt, a book by a non-binary author of colour, I have The Bone Witch by Rin Pecco. Rin is non-binary, obviously, and this book, The Bone Witch, is also our group book, so I really hope that you will all join us in reading this, and we'll be talking about it on Twitter and on the channel, so definitely keep an eye out for all that. And I have no idea what this is about, but I've heard really, really good things about it, been recommended it by a few people, and I'm really excited to dive in and see what I think of it. Then we have a book with a non-binary main character, and for that I have gone with Mask of Shadows by Lindsay Miller. Lindsay is not non-binary, but the main character is gender fluid. I've never read a book with a gender fluid main character. I've never even heard of a fantasy with a gender fluid main character, so I'm really excited to check this one out. I don't know what this one's about either. I just saw it at Yauk a few years ago and picked it up because the main character was gender fluid and I'd never seen that before, and I really wanted to check it out. So I'm really excited to be finally getting to this one this year. For the prompt to read a book with a non-binary side character, I've gone with The First Sister by Lyndon A. Lewis. This was quite a hard prompt to fill, and I think if we do the readathon again we might scrap this prompt, but I believe that this one has a non-binary side character. This one is a sci-fi. Once again, I'm not really sure what it's about. I don't really tend to read what a book is about before I go into it. Like, I hear about it, someone will talk about it, and I'll be like, oh, that sounds interesting, and I'll buy it. And then I'll remember that it sounded interesting, but I'll forget what it's about. But the interest will remain. I don't know if that makes sense. So I know I want to read this, but I have kind of forgotten what it's about. But I'm very excited to check it out. For the prompt, a book with the non-binary flag colours on the cover or the spine, I've gone with The Heart Forger by Rin Pecco. I like to marathon my series, so I had to try and get this one on. And yeah, I definitely have no idea what this one's about because it's a sequel, but I'm very excited, like I said, to dive into this series. And the colour is white. For the prompt to read a book recommended by a non-binary reviewer, I took a recommendation from Blue because they made a LGBT recommendations video recently, which I will also link in whichever corner it is, and they are non-binary if you didn't know. And the book they recommended that I picked is The Strange World Travel Agency by L.D. Lipinski. I believe the author is also non-binary, so it still fits with that theme. And all I know about this is that people go into a suitcase and end up in another world, and I've heard that it's amazing and magical and that I'm going to love it, and I'm very excited to check this one out. And then the final kind of proper prompt is to read a book with another gender identity, and so I'm reading Cemetery Boys, and for this one the main character is trans, and I believe the author is as well, so its own voices, and I'm really excited to read this one. I think it's about the main character summoning a ghost. I think he tries to summon the ghost of his friend but then summons someone else's ghost by accident, and I'm really excited to check this one out. It's been raved about and I'm really keen to see what I think of it. So that was the last prompt, but we also have a free space. We have a bingo board, put it here, and we have a free space as part of that bingo board, and I decided to fill my free space because I wanted to. And so for that one I am reading The Shadow Glass by Rinch Pecco. Like I say, I like to marathon my series. This is book 3, so now I've got the whole trilogy on my TBR and I'm happy about that. I have some other books that I would like to get to if I have the time, but I don't know if I will have the time because I already have 9 books on my TBR. But one of them is Ruin of Stars by Lindsay Miller. This is a sequel to Mask of Shadows. Like I say, I like to marathon my series, so hopefully I'll get to this one. If not, it'll probably be one of the first books I read in December just to round it out. So there's that one. Once again, gender fluid main character. I also have Phoenix Extravagant by Yoon Ha Lee. This one features a non-binary main character as well, but I've had Mask of Shadows for longer, so I decided to read that one. But I would like to get to this one if I get the time. I think it has dragons in and it sounds really interesting, so I would really like to check this out hopefully soon. And then I also have Marie K. Nykamp's new book. I think it's called Even If We Break. I'll leave the cover here. I have that on Scribd on audiobook, so I will probably get to that one. So that's my non-binary November TBR. Beth and Blue have both already done theirs, so I will leave them linked so you can check them out. And feel free to share your TBRs with me in the comments or share them with us on Twitter. Look out for Beth's video on Wednesday and Blue's video on Friday, and I will see you next time. Bye!